Hello. I'll be talking today about BYOD, what we're doing to manage devices on BYOD and how we're using the standards, the OMA standards, to do that. So just a couple of slides about Redbend if you've not heard of us before. One of them, the first slide about Redbend is that we are leader in mobile software management. We manage devices, any type of device. In fact, we're on over 1,200 different models of devices. Over 1.6 billion devices are shipped with our firmware update and device management clients on them. We have customers across the ecosystem, focusing mostly on the device manufacturers, but also chipset vendors, M2M modules, and also in automotive and other industries. But coming to what we're doing that we're talking about today, BYOD. So BYOD introduces challenges, management challenges. On the one hand, you've got a device that has to be managed by the operator, so you need to be able to configure subscriber services, you need to be able to secure the subscriber data, and you need to be able to keep the user experience fresh with firmware updates and service updates and application updates. The enterprise IT also has a play here, because it's a BYOD device, a device you're using in the enterprise. On the one hand, they need to ensure the isolation and the security of the enterprise data, but they also need to make sure there's privacy for the employee. They also need to have manageability of the enterprise application, but also traceability of the employee access. There's a lot of management needed by the enterprise IT, and there's a lot of continued management by the operator. So what we're showing here today, and in fact what we've announced at MWC, is we're doing enterprise trials with Samsung on the Samsung Galaxy S3. What we're doing on that device is we're putting a virtualization layer on the device and have two complete Androids running side by side in parallel. So if you have an Android, which is the operator Android that comes with the device, so it could be a Telefonica Android, it could be the AT&T flavor of the Android. That's on one side of the device, and also on the device we have another Android which is being managed by the enterprise. Each of them has management requirements that we talked about. On the one hand, you want to be able to provision the device with the enterprise domain, and to use that, we're using the new virtualization management object called Virmo for short, to provision the enterprise Android to the device and then manage it. Inside that Android, on the enterprise side, they'll be wanting to manage applications using SCOMO, update the Android itself using FUMO, lock and wipe it if it gets lost or misplaced using LORMO. And in parallel, we'll be able to do on the subscriber side, the operator side, also lock and wipe services, firmware updates for the operating system, diagnostics and monitoring if required, and as I mentioned beforehand, the virtualization MO to enable the service of deploying and managing enterprise Androids, enterprise domains. So this, having this manageability, having these services enable, of course, opportunities, not just challenges. The opportunities for the operator is they'll be able to offer more enhanced enterprise services, not just offering a SIM with a data plan, but also being able to offer provisioning and management of enterprise domains and applications, analytics of the performance of those domains, and ongoing improvement of it. So they'll be able to offer enhanced services to the enterprise. Also, most devices you buy from an operator, the operator has to subsidize, which is something they don't like. But if you have two different Androids on it, you can offer two subscriptions. So there'll be able to be a subscription they sell to the enterprise for data and voice, another subscription they sell to the consumer, the employee, also for data and voice. So one subsidy, two subscriptions. The OEM also has an opportunity here to make one device that they can sell into many markets. In the days of building devices specifically for the enterprise and specifically for the consumer markets have gone. Nowadays, a device is built and it has to be able to adapt to enterprise use and private use. Because you have the standards to be able to manage enterprise domains using FOTA, update devices to include an enterprise domain, you'll be able to, as a manufacturer, build one device that can work for consumers or be adapted to work for the enterprise. Enterprise ITs also have an opportunity here because, unlike other solutions that are proprietary and not using the standards of the OMA standards, this one that has two complete Androids gives the enterprise a complete standard Android to use to find applications for their enterprise. So they'll be able to approach any of the Android developers in the huge Android ecosystem to develop applications specifically for them, as opposed to having to find applications that work with a specific API, non-standard API for a container or other solution. So what we're showing here today is as I mentioned beforehand, Samsung Galaxy S3 device with, we'll provision it over the air. We're using Photo and Vimo, a second Android OS, complete Android OS. Using the Photo, we don't have to send the whole OS. We can just send a delta between the existing OS and the OS we want to build on the device. We'll be able to use configuration to be able to configure the private side of it, the operator manages, and we'll be able to use SCOMO for adding applications and removing applications to the enterprise domain, and LAWMO for locking, unlocking, and wiping it. Thank you.